Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events. Recording this Tuesday, December the 27th, shortly after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Hope you had a very Merry Christmas. And in case you have not heard, bird is the word. No, okay, little Family Guy there. In case you haven't heard, there's Arctic air. All signs are pointing towards the Arctic air moving back in to the lower 48, including Arkansas, probably by the middle of next week. So we're about 7 to 8 days away from seeing the initial surge of this Arctic air. Everything is pointing towards it, but again, I caution you, my usual disclaimer, things on the long range can and often do change. But it's all pointing towards it. And this time there may be some moisture involved at some point during this surge of Arctic air during that first, at least the end of the first week in January into the following week. So a lot of question marks as to how this unfolds, but I'm going to show you several different things. One from some of this data from weatherbell.com and eurowx.com, and I hope I make sense of all this. Let me go here to the Weatherbell maps. So this is Weatherbell, and you're looking at the GFS. This is the ensemble mean 500 millibar geopotential heights. And what I just want to show these are the anomalies here. This is what we're dealing with right now. You see a zonal flow, ridging taking place across the United States. But the thing I want you to see in this blue area, you see Alaska up in here, Arkansas down here, is the troughing that's taking place across Alaska and into Western Canada. Whenever you have troughing in this area, usually that pumps the Pacific air into the lower 48 and we get mild. And lo and behold, we're mild. Now we do get bouts of cool air like we have today. It's 20 degrees cooler today compared to yesterday, but this is air mainly from the Pacific. So again, this is not Arctic air that we're dealing with. For Arctic air, you don't want this trough. You want ridging to poke up into Alaska and far western Canada. And what that does is that dislodges the cold air and sends the trough towards the south. So underneath this trough, that's very cold air right here in Alaska. But you get this jet coming in underneath it, and that blasts the Pacific air. So the long and short of that. So let's go 8 days away from now. And this is what most of the models are showing. You see that that's gone, and the ridging goes up into Alaska and far western Canada, and just model agreement with a trough digging into much of the central United States. Now, this is 8 days away. This is valid the morning of January the 4th, 2017. 10 days out. Again, you see that ridging in Alaska, and then let's go to 14 days out. And you still see the ridging. Looks like it backs off towards the west a little bit, but you still see the ridging going up into Alaska. Now, what I like to do is show you the 5-day, here we go. These are the 5-day temperature anomalies, okay? So you're looking at this in increments of 5 days, and these are temperature anomalies, departures from average, in degrees Celsius. So you can see things are mild. This is the 27th through the 1st, very mild. And then you take the next 10 days and look what happens. This is January 1st through the 6th. And if you look at that time period, look how much colder it gets across the central and western United States. Look how much warmer it gets over Alaska. You get that ridging, and here comes the cold air. So that's, again, you got to look at this in degrees Celsius. Let's go and take a look at let's go 13. Here we go. So this is the 5-day average temperature anomalies in degrees Celsius from the 4th through the 9th. You got Barney Purple showing up here across the plains, and still quite warm, relatively speaking. It's still really cold in Alaska, but a little bit above average temperatures, and all that cold air shoved towards the south. Now, what could make this different compared to what we had earlier in December with the cold air? Remember, these are anomalies against the averages. Well, the average temperature in January is colder than the average temperature in December, so there's at least some chance if this were to verify that you're dealing with temperatures that would be colder than what we had with that last bout. I'm not quite sure I believe. Now, what about the moisture? I'm sorry, I'm kind of flipping through these maps. This is the long-range European, and again, I caution you. Did I get the right one? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Anyway, so again, long-range European. So take it with the grain of salt, any long-range model. But you see that this is at 500 millibars, and you see Alaska up here. You see the ridging there, troughing here. And you're going to have energy. So you got this cold air coming down out of Canada, and you're going to have energy coming around the base of that trough, and that's the ingredients for some fun and games way down the road. All right? Now, temperatures from EuroWX.com to show you how temperatures are going to swing next week. This is again from the European computer model from EuroWX.com. Monday's highs, this is the 2nd. It's got temperatures in the 60s to near 70 degrees. We start the week off very mild, start the year off very mild, but then you see what happens on Tuesday. The cold air starts to push in. You got 20s in the Oklahoma Panhandle, 30s, 40s. So quite a temperature gradient across Arkansas, 30s to 50s as that cold air starts to move in. And then you look at Wednesday's highs. Again, do not take this literally, but just see how it trends colder from temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Now we're talking about highs on Wednesday in the 30s and 40s, and then very long range highs in the 20s and 30s. On Thursday, January the 5th. So there's the trend of colder. Again, don't take that literally, but that's just to show you that we do have the chance for that cold air to come in according to the European computer model and the GFS and the Canadian, and I haven't looked at the JMA yet. So anyway, the bottom line here, it's going to stay relatively mild, not warm like we had 70 degrees, but no true Arctic air for the next week. When and if it happens, and right now it looks like a good bet, it's not going to be until Tuesday or Wednesday of the first week of 2017, first week of January, and then that cold air starts to establish itself. Then we look towards moisture getting involved, and that's really long range. And you know where you're going to find out more about that? Right here on the Arkansas Weather Blog. Thanks again for coming here. We are your ticket to big weather events.